Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I think I should be the one saying I'm welcome back because it's been a while. But yeah. Let's not go into all of that. Today is not the day. I think one of these days I'm gonna do like a breakdown of what my life is generally. But for today we have a video to react to, and it's a video of an APC, chieftain who is basically being asked about, the Tinubu economy, opposition, and all of that. So let's take a look. Let's take a look.
In just about 30 seconds, and I'd like to know what your views are. In 2023, yes, the election result show that the president had 8.7 million votes, right?
Yeah.
And it defeated Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, and the rest, and some of them who garnered about 6 million votes apiece. Now, if the scenario were to be the same,
Yeah.
seeing Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi coming into the same political party, that is almost 13 million possible votes.
Okay, so I'll just assume, I don't want to assume rather, that my audience knows these individuals. So I'm just going to break it down quickly, right? So Atiku Abubakar is or was the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, the major or the main opposition party in the last 2023 election, whilst Peter Obi was the sort of like the third force candidate of the Labour Party, also in the last election. And both of them had about 6 million, over 6 million votes each. Like he said, Atiku had about 6.9 or 6.8 thereabouts, whilst Obi had about 6.1 million. So this has been part of the conversation since the election, because everyone felt the current president, who is Bola Tinubu, basically took advantage of the split in the opposition votes, and basically came into power off the back of that. And I guess the opposition leaders saw this as well, because they have now come together under one party. And I think that is where Sheon's question is sort of coming from. So let's hear what the guest had to say.
And possibility of more in 2027.
So
it does look like, just a moment, sir, it does look like the APC and Bola Tinubu might be in trouble.
How? The scenario of 2023 is not the scenario of today. We have 28 governors today.
But did they manifest?
Okay, so there's this myth about governors being very big, holding very big influence in what the result of particular state comes to, or what the presidential candidate gets in those states. This myth was royally busted in the last election. I mean, even Lagos State that had an APC governor, or that has had APC governors since 1999, lost the state to a third force like Peter Obi, who was running an election for the first time under a party that virtually nobody knew. So this idea that governors would sort of determine the results or the outcome of elections in their state has been demystified. The only argument that a lot of people make with respect to governors is basically their influence in ensuring that this quote and unquote rigging of the state, or to an extent making sure that the opposition or the people who they don't necessarily favor also do not rig. So I guess this is the advantage, but I mean, you never know. It is also true that um, when when a governor favors a particular candidate, he could even look the other way, and whatever needs to be done gets done, and the results comes out in their favor. So whilst largely this particular myth has been demystified a lot of times, it still actually has its own weight, to be fair. So, and yes, by the way, the APC has 28 governors. They did not start this administration with 28 governors, by the way. They started with, I think 2023 or 24. I can't really remember, but they've had a lot of governors crossing over to that party. Um, if I, off the top of my head, I know that the Enugu State Governor has gone to APC, the Bayelsa State Governor has gone to APC, the Akwa Ibom State Governor, or yes, Akwa Ibom, I think either Akwa Ibom or Cross River State Governor has gone to APC. Um, I think I mentioned Enugu already. Um, there's this other governor. Yeah, I think the Plateau State governor also has gone to APC. That's what, four already. Um, the River State governor has also gone to APC. That's five. And there are still a few other governors, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, yes, the party is currently at the height of its power, and there's actually talks of Kano State governor, which is one of the largest voting, which the state that has one of the largest voting population is also crossing over to the APC. So yes, like he said, he's actually right to say that the dynamics of 2023 are not necessarily the same.
After presidential results,
that's not the point. A governor is supposed to be in charge of his state. It's a natural thing.
but
except
you had governors
and
and you lost election in their state.
Yeah.
APC lost election.
Now we were not in
state
power. The good things we have done, in government will speak for us. Obi is no longer commanding the followership he was commanding before.
Okay. So this is something the APC, if you know any APC person, they always say this. So they say that Obi is not controlling the followership. Yeah. So where did those followers go? Where? I mean, if someone is not controlling followers, so where did they go? Did they cross to Tinubu's side or to Atiku's side? So where did they go? Where are these followers that left? And at the end of the day, people leave, people come, more people join. So there's really no metric really to determine, this so-called followership. And let's not forget, these were the same people that never even ascribed any sort of followership to the man in the last election. They believed that he was only just making noise on social media, and he was not going to even get up to 200,000 votes. Well, he surprised them and even won their states, like their major states, which is Lagos State. So that disrespect is not really there anymore because they know that he has the followership. The only problem now is basically trying to sort of water down his influence to say, well, he doesn't have as much followership anymore. So, just watch out for these guys. They know how to gaslight.
Any that governor in the southeast that is Abga, or that is what's Obi's party? What's Obi's party? Labour Party, or even his new Democratic Party. What I'm saying is that scenarios have changed. In the past, Obi had total control of southeast
and Lagos.
He didn't have total control of Lagos.
He defeated your
party. What happened? In the governor,
we're talking about presidential.
You see that? so the thing is, yes, right? The dynamics are not the same as it was in 2023. That's the truth, right? But what APC folks always do is to always speak about the dynamics that sort of favor them and sort of minimize the reality of things that obviously, speak against, or basically sort of waters down their own influence as well. So, okay, so what are the dynamics now? As well? If we are going to talk about dynamics, right? So like I said, in the last election, what and I don't even understand what it meant by they were not in power. They literally took over from an APC president or an APC government. So it's the same party. So what's this? We were not in power. But that being said, um, yeah. So right now, the opposition guys are now together, right? So for those who want to make just the normal basic math of saying, oh, Atiku had 6 million, we had 6 million combined together with some change, that's about 13 million, right? This obviously is a big threat to the president. A big threat to the president. There were a lot of states in that last election that the president did not get even up to 10,000 votes. That's how unpopular it was in some of those states. So coming together of the Atiku side and the Obi side is definitely a big threat in 2027. Like you can't water that down. Now another dynamic that has also changed, especially in the previous election, was the fact that well, maybe to his credit, like he said, they were not in government, and by they, maybe he meant Tinubu. And maybe they had that going for them because at that time they had always mentioned some of the things he had done in Lagos. But obviously, I mean, after 2, 3 years now, everyone has seen that the president really, really is actually, somewhat clueless on how to govern the country, right? So a lot of people who had supported him at the time are probably disappointed to see how woeful he has been in his administration, and who knows, maybe they will change their mind to vote somebody else. So that is also a new dynamics that has to be put in play, because definitely this, at the start of the administration, he was already an unpopular candidate. He has come in, he is now an unpopular president. There's been obviously a lot of issues with respect to the economy, cost of living, security, and all these other myriads of problems the country currently face. So definitely, that would definitely influence people's votes against him. Now there was also the old Muslim ticket, who a lot of people had very big um, how would I put it? A lot of people were sympathetic to, especially in the northern part of the country. But recently, I'm not sure if you saw the article that was posted by Governor Nasir El-Rufai, and he has been doing it. It was almost like a series, because he has been breaking down some of the, you know, um, the should I call it the moves of this government that basically goes against this tenet of a Muslim ticket. The El-Rufai article basically shows that this government has actually been prosecuting and marginalizing the Muslim North, and El-Rufai has been bringing that out, um, in front of everyone to see that these Muslims, especially for those in the North who were sympathetic to this cause at that time, basically letting them know that the Muslims guy was actually a bust. This guy has no regard for whether you are a Muslim or a Christian, whether you are Northerner or a Southerner. His own focus really is how to win an election and how he continues to remain president. And obviously, this particular dynamic, as it was, as you would find the contrary in 2023, would definitely play a role this time around. So the president obviously chose a Muslim candidate because he was trying to get sympathy votes from the Muslim North. Now the Muslim North are seeing that this particular president actually does not rate them, and that may definitely play a role in him getting less votes. So in fact, one of the biggest opposition to this particular president has actually come from the North, and that is why a lot of people are basically suggesting that the president, or the reason why a lot of the governors who are defected to the APC right now, the reason why they are doing that is because the president is trying to see how he can leverage the votes from the South, um, to to get an edge in the next election. So again, yes, dynamics shift, politics always move around, like the wheels turn, but it is not always at the disadvantage of the opposition. That's what I always tell my APC friends. But let's listen.
No. Presidential, the presidential election. No. This is the argument. This is the argument of the bad belly people. What the president needed per state is minimum of 25%.
But he lost his home state.
He did not
as
lose
a politician.
His home state. He had 54%.
Your capacity is shown whether in your home turf.
No.
We don't have the time any longer.
He was going for
We are
presidential
totally
election. Why didn't Labour Party win governorship election in Lagos?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
I appreciate it.
All right. So yeah, I have to tell you, APC allowing Labour Party to win that Lagos state was a big mistake. Whether you argue that they made sure that the votes was not really different, because I think the difference between the votes were like 10,000 or thereabout. So they did try to match up the votes, but just that that fact that they allowed it has actually give a lot of people hope that these guys can actually lose this state. So yeah, that last election definitely demystified President Tinubu in some ways, but we'll see how the next election goes. And guys, share your thoughts. What do you think? Does this president feel threatened at all by the opposition coming together? Yeah, share your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be there to reply you guys. Yeah, see you on the next one, guys. Bye.